So, you're a sociology student and you've got your sights set on law school? Well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we are breaking down the entire strategic roadmap to get you from that lecture hall right into the courtroom. Let's dive in. You're dreaming of a career in law. Maybe you can already picture yourself in front of a jury, or maybe advising a major corporation, or out there fighting for social justice. Well, that path, it starts with the choices you're making right now. And here's the thing. You might already be holding a secret weapon. That's right. A lot of people automatically think of political science or history as the go-to pre-law majors. But your sociology degree, it actually gives you this incredibly powerful, unique foundation. It's a genuine competitive edge for getting into law school and, honestly, for crushing it once you're there. Okay, so here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll get into why sociology is such a potent secret weapon. Then, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of the application process itself. After that, we'll zero in on crafting your unique story, see how your degree pays off in the real world, and finally, we'll talk about your next steps. All right, first up, sociology's secret weapon. Let's talk about what really, truly sets you apart from the crowd. So let's think about the usual suspects, right? The traditional pre-law majors. You've got political science, which is all about government systems. History, which really hones your research skills, and philosophy, which builds that critical logical reasoning. And look, those are all fantastic paths, don't get me wrong. But sociology, it gives you a much broader lens. You get insights into how society actually functions, how people interact, and you get the hard empirical research skills to prove it. So let's really dig into your sociological toolkit, shall we? For starters, you've got this deep, deep understanding of human behavior, which, come on, that's everything in law, right? Connecting with a client, reading a witness, persuading a jury. Then there's your research skills, both qualitative and quantitative. That is a massive asset for building arguments and analyzing evidence. And maybe the biggest one of all, you bring this critical perspective on social justice and systemic issues, a viewpoint that is absolutely vital in the legal world today. Okay, so you've got the skills. Awesome. But how do you actually translate that into an application that gets you in? Let's jump into the action plan. All right, first things first, the LSAT. It's the big one. And listen, here's a really important piece of info that should help you breathe a little easier. Don't panic if you don't nail it on the first try. Seriously, a ton of successful applicants take it 2, sometimes even 3 times. So the real takeaway? Prepare like crazy, but see a retake not as a failure, but as a strategic move to pump up your score. Now, the LSAT is huge, but it's not the only piece of the puzzle. Here's what else you need to focus on. You got to keep that GPA strong, especially in classes that show off your writing and research. Get some relevant experience, an internship, volunteer work, anything that shows you're serious about law. And definitely build good relationships with your professors for those strong letters of recommendation. But the thing that can really make you stand out from a stack of applications, it's your personal statement. And we're going to dig into that right now, because this is where your sociology background can just absolutely shine. Okay, let's talk about the personal statement. This is, without a doubt, one of the most powerful parts of your application. This is where you connect all the dots for that admissions committee. Look, anyone can say, I want to be a lawyer. You need to go deeper. Tell them a story. Explain why learning about social inequality or group dynamics or systemic issues has lit a fire in you to pursue law. That story, that's your unique power. And really, it all boils down to this. This is the one question you have to answer in your essay. You have to show them, not just tell them, how your unique way of seeing the world, your sociological lens, is going to make you a more effective, a more insightful, and a more valuable lawyer. Okay, let's jump ahead. Imagine this. You got in, you crushed law school, you graduated. Now what? Where does that sociology degree really start to pay off in the actual day-to-day practice of law? Well, turns out your sociology background is a massive asset in so many different legal fields. Take criminal law. You don't just see a case, you see the social factors behind it. In family law, you have a much better grasp of the complex social systems at play. And of course, public interest and civil rights law, that's a no-brainer. Your whole degree is basically a masterclass in the issues you'd be tackling. But hey, even in corporate law, understanding how organizations and groups behave, that gives you a serious leg up. Okay, so we've talked about your unique advantages, and we've walked through the application strategy. Let's bring it all home and talk about your next steps as you officially begin this legal journey. So what's the bottom line here? Your sociology degree isn't some weird alternative path to law school. Honestly, in a lot of ways, it's one of the best paths. The skills you're building every day, analytical thinking, deep research, social awareness, that's exactly what the modern legal world needs. So own it. Walk into this process with confidence, knowing you bring something really special to the table. This path you're on, from sociology to law, it's not just possible, it's powerful. It's strategic. You really are uniquely equipped to make a huge impact. So now we want to turn it over to you. As you start this journey, what questions are still on your mind? What do you still want to know about becoming a lawyer? Drop your questions in the comments below.